So things haven't changed that drastically since 1971 because the experience that you will get working for an organization, pounding the phones, walking the pavement. Now you've got computers instead of 3x5 cards and you have all kinds of tracking mechanisms. But usually if you show a sports team that you have an interest in sales, that you have a capability to sell, you can move any place else in that organization, and more importantly, you can move any place else through sport. I've been lucky enough to work in a number of different sports, so I haven't been pigeonholed. And somebody asked me, actually today, I was doing a speaking appearance, and they said, so a COO, what does that do? Define that. And my definition is real simple. I come up with the money so that the general manager, the owner, and the coach can overpay 19-year-olds. Well, that's somewhat facetious. It doesn't quite work that way, but we're generating the revenue so that the organization can exist. And I'm lucky enough to be speaking to you from deep inside the bowels of our multi-billion-dollar training facility here in the heart of the Silicon Valley. The NFL is the strongest of all the major team sports brands. But even we have to go out and sell. And it's really important that even though you might not be excited about the ticket sales process, once you prove to an organization that you have the right stuff, that you have the work ethic, that you have the ability to be knocked down and get back up again, you're going to succeed. And that transmits to any other part of the organization. And the last thing that I will talk to you about today, and remember the 5 B's, it's be brief, brother, be brief. I'm sure you've had some of these video lectures that go on and on and on, but I don't have the mental capacity or the attention span to do that. So I'd like you to recognize and try to remember what I call the 8 scopes of success. Now, what are those scopes? That's S-C-O-P-E-S, S-C-O-P-E-S. And when Jim Kaler asked me to do this, he said, what are those essential ingredients that my students are going to need to have to succeed in this business? So the first scope is the microscope. And the reason that I think the microscope is important is because it gives you the ability to look inside your organization, to understand wherever you are, you're going to need to know every minute detail of your business. Just as our players have a very thick playbook and they have to understand every nuance of that playbook, you're going to have to do the same thing or should want to do the same thing at whatever organization you work for. Number 2 is the telescope. So we go the opposite direction, and that gives you the ability to look outside. Forget about the micro detail. Now look at the bigger vision because that gives you the roadmap to look at unexplored territory. What kind of programs, what kind of sales capabilities can I put into an organization that'll make it more successful? Third is the stethoscope. Why the stethoscope? Because organizations, in my view, are living, breathing organisms. So it gives you the ability to kind of listen to the heartbeat of your organization and, more importantly, to understand the rhythm of the people in it. Because unless you're working in a positive team environment with great ownership, quality management, and a significantly highly performing product, it's going to be a tough slog. The fourth, and you're all too young to worry about this one, but old guys like me have to think about it, that's the proctoscope. And anytime you mention proctoscope, people start laughing and smiling and going, where's he going? Well, the proctoscope takes you to places that people don't normally want to go to, but that kind of medical device gives you the ability to protect the long-term health of your body and the organization that's in it. So proctoscopes aren't always pretty. And any organization to really move forward in a quality fashion needs to do those kind of internal exams to make sure it's going in the right place. The next, and this one I think it works well for the kind of world that we're living in, is the gyroscope, because that keeps everybody centered in times of crisis. And we're all living through a fiscal virus out there in the world. When you're trying to sell for any kind of organization, you've got to keep yourself centered. You're going to hear all kinds of excuses why people shouldn't buy your product, why you shouldn't talk to them. But if you're centered every day, if you don't have too many ups and downs, if your life isn't an EKG, you're going to be successful. The next is the periscope, which we're all in a competitive business. You're competing against your fellow students. We're competing against teams, leagues, alternative ways of people spending disposable income. The periscope gives you an ability to kind of stealthily look around and see what the competition is up to. The next is the kaleidoscope, and you will all be going out to jobs literally all over the globe, and you're going to be working with all types of diverse colleagues. So you need to understand, what that means, because ever-changing. The only thing business is secure in is that it's insecure, that it's going to change every day, and if you don't understand the kind of movement of the kaleidoscope every day, you can be left outside. The last is the horoscope, which is kind of a mix of science and symbolism, which gives you the ability to try to protect where you're going next. So when you get down to the core reason that there is an industry, that since 1971, when there was only one sports management program and now there's over 300, it's because people love to come out and see the greatest athletes in the world do their thing in an unscripted environment. There's a lot of brainless TV reality shows, but sports of all kind is the ultimate reality show. It's the most positive reality show out there. And in all of these sports and all of these events, unless you've got a lot of ins, you don't get into any of them without buying an LPC, without buying a ticket. So happy selling, and we'll see you next time. Bye.